Now then, people, and welcome back to the Just Joe Football Show. I hope you're all doing well. And of course, it is the start of a week. I hope you have a fantastic week as well. Before we get into today's video, I just want to thank you all for getting me over 12k subscribers. I'm going to set that target of 20k before the end of the year. Fingers crossed we can achieve it. And I want to say a big shout out to you all who've watched the content over the last few days. It was great to have Connor back on the channel as well. The dream team back together. You asked and you shall receive. And before we get into the meat and bones of today's video, as is always the case, please smash a like on it. Let's get to 1k likes. Please do subscribe to the channel, get your comments in, and of course hit that notification bell. But we are here today, first of all, to start with some breaking news. It has been widely reported and loads of credible sources that Raphinha is not heading to Barcelona. He's actually staying in the Premier League and could be on his way to Arsenal. Listen, we understand as Leeds United fans, he's our prize asset. For me, reading between the lines, there's reasons to actually be happy about this. I know a lot of Leeds fans will be like, Arsenal, and we'll get to that bit. But ultimately, Raphinha is going to leave Leeds United this summer. I mean, he has been our prize asset since coming in and our best player since coming in under Bielsa. Bought for just 17 million. By the way, 17 million by Victor Orta in Bielsa's first season in the Premier League. And of course, he started like a house on fire when he made his first start for Leeds, scoring 6 times and getting 9 assists in just his first Premier League campaign. And then obviously last season being the standout player. If we didn't have him, we wouldn't be in this division. That's facts. He was the best player last season, 11 goals and 3 assists. And you understand why players want to, buy Raphinha. He's a hot property. And look, I said to you way back in January, February time when it was announced that I was like, this guy's going Barcelona. He loves Barcelona. He's got the Ronaldinho links, his idol, his family member. He's got the Deco links. It looks signed, sealed, delivered. And look, Barcelona have agreed terms with the player. This is out there. We know this, yeah? But there has been no agreement on fee with Leeds United, and it is believed now that they could be out of the race, and he's actually close to an agreement with Arsenal. Now, we had a laugh this time last week when them links to Arsenal were mentioned, because for us as a Leeds United fan, I'm like, this guy should be winning titles. This guy should be playing in the Champions League, and Arsenal don't offer that. Let me just caveat that, right? That wasn't any slant on Arsenal as a football club. I actually really, really like Arsenal. As a top 6 side, they're probably up there for me. It was that Wenger era. It was Thierry Henry, Emmanuel Petit, Robert Pires, Freddie Ljungberg, all these players before that, Tony Adams, etc., etc. I just like them, right? And so don't ever take it as a slant on them per se. I just think where they are currently in the football pyramid, I didn't see that move happening. But it looks like Raphinha is getting sick and tired of waiting for Barcelona. We know that when he came to Leeds United from Rennes for a measly £17 million, he took offence. You know what I mean? He took offence at saying, I can't believe they let me go for such a small fee. It smacked of disrespect. They are Raphinha's words. So the fact that this club, who say they want him and coveted him since January, are failing to stump up the cash, naturally, and we spoke about it yesterday with Connor, Raphinha's getting frustrated at this fact. And Barcelona almost consigned themselves to not signing him by saying they do not have the economic capacity to make this deal happen. I believe Barcelona's director of football, Almani, is out there as saying, we hope to negotiate a much lower price for Raphinha. Much less than the 50 million euros Leeds are currently holding out for. We best not be holding out for 50 million euros because, as I said, that equates to 47 million. Apparently, and this has been reported by the YEP reputable journalist, there is an impasse over 10 million euros. So, in effect, Barcelona are trying to get this guy for 40 million euros, which equates to 34 million pounds. Now, believe me when I say, if Leeds United were to do that, all the good work they've built up so far would just be gone. You cannot let your prize asset go for 4 million more than what you sold, Rio Ferdinand for back in 2002. He's our record transfer exit. And you're telling me you want to, or Barcelona want to pay just 4 million more than that. And that was back in 2002. It's a joke. Leeds United, apparently, according to The Athletic, are holding out for between 65 to 70 million pounds. 60, 70, 65 to 75, whatever it is. And if you put him in that bracket, you know, the likes of players that went for that fee of 70 plus, are you Jadon Sancho's, are you Nicola Pepe? I'd argue, in terms of what he's done in the Premier League, he's streets ahead of them. Arsenal fans will say streets ahead of them, ahead of Pepe for sure. Nicola Pepe got riled by Alioski. I mean, he's not it. So if they're willing to pay that amount for Nicola Pepe, then know that they'll be willing to stump up the cash for Raphinha. And that's the thing. I'm at a stage now as a fan. I'm not asked where he goes. I just want us to get his worth. And Barcelona are trying to get him on the cheap and probably will try throw in players. If their main man is Lewandowski as well, that's going to also rile Raphinha. Oh, you want Lewandowski, yeah? You want to pay him, but you're not coming for me. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll move. And apparently, Arsenal are in direct negotiations with Leeds and have been interested since March. And look, you could argue Raphinha's better waiting it out. Raphinha is better waiting it out, playing in the World Cup, having an amazing World Cup, which he will. Brazil will go far in this World Cup, and he could go for more. He could go for more. He could even wait out his contract and go for the highest bidder in terms of signing on fee, etc. You could argue that because he's going to be going to Arsenal. And yes, he's going to be playing in Europe, but not the Champions League, not the pinnacle. But what I will say for Arsenal, they are building something there. I've said that I've always been a fan of Arteta. I like what he's doing. He's building a squad. And if some of their signings that are being mooted get over the line, Tielemans, Gabriel Jesus, Raphinha, you know, they have the they will go places, they will do bits. Some will disagree because of Arteta, etc. But I don't mind him. I know Arsenal fans would rather see the back of him, a certain section anyway. But if you add Raphinha into that mix, and Arsenal fans must be licking their lips. And maybe Raphinha looks at Arsenal as a prospect and says, well, look, Jesus, international teammate, you know, they've got some standout players already. You know, I think I can usurp Saka. Maybe Saka will get used on the left. They've got Martinelli again. He played with Gabriel, as we know, back in the youth setup at his Brazilian club. So they've got all these aces in the pack that could well get this deal over the line. I laughed about it previously, but the fact that it sounds like Raphinha's getting frustrated. Barcelona don't have the cash. At this point, I'm saying move on. You know, Arsenal aren't the only club. Of course, Tottenham and Chelsea are interested. But it looks like Arsenal are going to be the one to make that move. And Arsenal are actually confident, and it's been reported that they could get this over the line within a week. He could be an Arsenal player. He could be a gunner by the end of next week. And at this stage, of course, I don't want to lose Raphinha. I'd like him to go abroad. I don't want him playing against Firpo. But at this stage, I know he's going. So I just want him to go for the highest bidder. And my worry is that he says, I'm dead set on Barca. That's the only club I'm willing to go to. So therefore, Leeds United have to accept the 50 million euros, let's say. That's, you know, 47 million pounds in English pounds. You know, there is a 10 million impasse. Maybe Barca will try some tactics, say we'll give you this player and that player and make it up, or do it in, you know, installments. And if Raphinha says it's Barcelona and no one, then Leeds United sort of have to meet Barca. But if Raphinha's sort of coming away from that a little bit, getting frustrated, that helps Victor. That helps Leeds United in saying, do you know what? He's willing to move elsewhere. And the English Premier League and the English tax on top will pay what we're requesting. They will pay between 60 and 70, between 65 and 75, because they've done it. You know, Man United did it for Sancho. Arsenal did it for Pepe. So as much as it paid me to see him in another club's shirt, I just want the most money for him, because then we can continue to reinvest it and continue to make this squad bigger. So I'm actually like, yeah, make it happen, Arsenal. Get it over the line. I love Raphinha. I always will love Raphinha. But again, just come back to it. Just want the most money that the clubs are going to pay. And Barcelona ain't going to do that. And that's the worrying thing, is if he turns around and said it's Barcelona or no one, then Leeds United sort of have to come to an arrangement if they want to sell him, which they do. It's one to watch. It's one to watch. I want to know your thoughts in the comments. Would you rather Raphinha move to Barca, move to Arsenal? Let me know in the comments. Now, there has also been reports today that Leeds have made a formal approach to sign Adama Traore, basically Dan James on steroids, Dan James on creatine, whatever you like, whatever supplement you want, protein powdered up to death. He is basically the equivalent of Dan James with muscles. Apparently, the fee is as low as £18 million, and we are looking to get that one over the line. The good thing about, Traore, he carries the ball really well and carries it long distances and can get us up the pitch. That goes without saying. We've seen it in the flesh when he played for Borough, when Patrick Bamford got that hat-trick that time at the Riverside. The guy can play. It's what comes after that. Everything tee to green is decent. You then get to the green and, you take about 15 putts to actually put it in the hole. It's no good. We know Victor Orta is a big admirer of Traore. It may be lazy journalism. I hope it is. Talks over a new contract with Wolves have collapsed. And it's probably the last opportunity for them to secure a major fee, to get some money back. Otherwise, he goes for nothing, People will say, he did well at Barcelona. I'm not too sure. They had an option to sign him, to make it permanent. They've decided not to trigger that. I believe he played 11 matches in the Liga, got 0 goals and 2 assists. I think he might have got a couple of goals in the Copa del Rey and other competitions, but in the league, no goals, 2 assists. For Wolves, 123 matches, 8 goals, 12 assists. It's terrible. And it's one that I don't want to see get done. Of course, if he becomes a Leeds United player, then, I will back him, like I have done with Dan James. But if we're talking candidly, he's not someone I want to see come to Leeds United. I'm sorry, Adama. I'm sorry, Wolves. I'm sorry, Victor. I think it would disappoint a lot of fans if, say, Raphinha went to Arsenal and we brought in Adama Traore. It just wouldn't work for me. Another update on the Salford Silver, James McAtee. Apparently, Sam Lee of The Athletic, who originally broke the news about Calvin, about Lavia, etc., very close to things at City, has said that they want to keep him there. They rate him very, very highly, and they believe that his growth will be better placed with the first team, despite interest from elsewhere. We know that, much like Bielsa did, Pep is very much on that. He did it with Foden, etc. He doesn't like to send these players out on loan. He likes to keep them close to the first team, training with the first team and giving them little starts in the cup if he can. But for me, the one we want anyway is Romeo Lavia. I think he's the one we want. If Calvin is to go, he comes, he gets game time. We also look to replace Calvin with a Tyler Adams, but Romeo Lavia is there as a make-weight possibly in the deal, but also someone that I'm excited about. He's been labelled as the next Fernandinho. We don't really have a young prospect in our setup coming through in that position. So maybe some would argue Bay, perhaps, but I think Leeds might look to loan him out. But the thing that makes me think Leeds want Lavia as well is the fact that his representatives have come out and says that a decision will be made between Belgium or England in the next few days, and we will know very, very soon. We know that Victor Orta was pictured at Manchester Airport getting on a flight to Belgium as this was announced. So for me, I think the McAtee one maybe wasn't ever genuine. Maybe it's just, paper talk, people throwing it out there. And I think the one that we're after is, of course, Romeo Lavia. And I want that one to get over the line. Let me know your thoughts. Lavia or McAtee in the comments. And just finally, I want to finish with a potential left back. We're told that Leeds United do not want a left back. I want a left back. You want a left back. I reckon players want a left back. Junior Firpo wants a left back probably because he's sick of being being the rod for everyone's stick. Rightly so, because he's been terrible since he's come to Leeds United. It's true. People say he might come good. I'm not too sure. Look, I spoke to Connor yesterday. We were talking about Charlie Taylor as a potential. Okay, might come for 10 to 15 million, 8 million plus add-ons. I don't know, perhaps. I think it's a no-brainer. He's shown he can do it in the Premier League. Whenever he's come up against Leeds, he's always been standout. So for those that say, I played for Burnley, etc., look at the games he had against Leeds. It was always great. He knows how to deliver a ball. I think it'd be a perfect acquisition. But if Leeds United don't want to go get a left-back and don't want to pay that price, there is another option who Leeds United previously have been linked with. Tagliafico. Make it happen, because it is being reported that he no longer wants to stay at Ajax. He finally wants to get his transfer out of Holland. Apparently, the chances of him leaving are extremely big. In January, Mark Overmars agreed with him when he didn't get his move that a club can pick him up for a measly €4 million. €4 million. That is a no-brainer. Leeds United need a left-back. Forget Stroud, forget Hjelde. They're the future. They're centre-backs. Forget Davis. He's been touted out. But €4 million is a no-brainer. He admitted he was close to joining Barcelona back in January, but nothing really ever materialised. But they were interested in him. There will be other clubs interested in Tagliafico. He's primarily a left-back, but versatile enough to play as a left-sided wide player. He can play at centre-back. That fits what Victor looks for normally. Yes, he is 29, but he's still got a good few years ahead of him at the top of the game. You know, a player of Tagliafico's skill set and experience would be invaluable to Leeds United. It's a no-brainer for me. Victor Orta needs to be on that phone to Mark Overmars or whoever it is who's in charge. I think Overmars had a few issues, but I don't know if he's there anymore. But I think back then he would have been, and he was told, look, you can leave. He probably would like a move to the Premier League. Who wouldn't? It's where it's at. Let's be honest. That's why we get Christensen over Dortmund, which when you peel that back, it is quite crazy that we've beaten Dortmund to a player. He was basically in the door and decided to opt for the Premier League. So for me, it's a no-brainer. If you're not going to get Charlie Taylor or another left-back, when Tagliafico, with his experience and skill set and what he could give us, is available for as little as €4 million, you have to make that happen, Victor. So if by any chance you're watching this, which I doubt you are, but if you are, get on to his people, get on to his representatives. That is a no-brainer. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Tagliafico, yes or no? Raphinha, Barca or Arsenal? And of course, out of them City youngsters, if we were to get a make-weight, who do you want? McAtee or Lavia? Let me know in the comments. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. I've really enjoyed putting it together. Really enjoying the time on the channel at this moment in time. It's all love, man. I love you. And as an Arsenal fan would say, it's love for the love. And I'll see you in a bit. Peace out. Leeds.